will be helping Czar commentate. He is going to be playing Final Fantasy Legend 2, and he's doing the 4 robots category today. And I guess that's it. I'm Tarima99, so any questions, let me know. I'll try to answer them to the best of my ability. And I guess we'll get started here. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Good luck. So Final Fantasy Legend 2 is a great adventure involving 4 robots that somehow, you know, Dad made you, I guess. So naturally, when we're hanging out with our dad, he jumps out the window. So in this adventure, we are going to be looking for our father while we're also chasing Magi. Our father gave us a Magi that you can use during the game. So the Magi are actually not just a MacGuffin in this game, you can actually use them. So the first one that you get from your father is, if you double click on it, or if you use it in the Magi section, it tells you how many Magi are in this world. You can't sequence break it all, so you have to get them. And so after you get all of them, you can go to the next world. Alright, so this is the great adventure of Robot A, B, C, and D. And they're on their way to do, like I said earlier, find all the Magi and... Alright, when we try to leave town, we get a companion, Mr. S joins our team. So we're gonna go on this adventure with Mr. S. With this 4 robots category that Czar is doing, he does step manipulation. So we are going to hopefully see lots of saving and resetting before and after battles. And hold on, let me adjust my microphone setting. So we just saw an example there of how he was saving and loading and saving, walking a couple steps, getting into battle and reloading again. This is hopefully going to manipulate, obviously, battles, and it's also going to hopefully increase the chance of getting item drops that he's going to need to either sell or to equip to help out. And I guess they would be we ask her about if she's seen our dad or the Magi. So real quickly there, she says that she hasn't seen our dad and the Magi. And then as soon as you're walking away, she's like, hold on a second. Check out this place. So she tells you where to go, to the Temple of the Ancient God. Okay. Do I need to do anything different? All right, I will keep going. So the reason the four robots category is unique in the speedrun sense compared to anything else is robots are kind of broken in this game. They gain their stats based off of what you equip. So if you give them strength equipments, their strength will go up. If you give them defensive items, their defense will go up. If you put agility items on them, their agility will go up. So in this game, strength isn't that good. You do a lot of damage with strength weapons, but you have a higher chance of missing because you won't have agility. Defense, obviously, you know, you're going to take less damage, but that doesn't really help in a speed run. So after, so naturally, then you're going to go with agility, and agility robots break the game pretty easily. That you'll find out. When you have agility weapons, they do damage based off your agility and dodge attacks from enemies based off agility, and your hit rate is based off of agility. So having a high agility is what is going to make this, you know, run look real. So these little things he's picking up there are the Magi. So when he uses if he equips those Magi, based on what they do, will give him like different stats or abilities later in the. Alright, so he's leaving the Temple of the Gods, and there's two guys there that are knocked out, and they say something about Ashura's men came there. If you actually talk to him. And so the big thing with I guess this run in most categories is trying to run with a companion. So the step manipulation that Czar is doing will also help that he doesn't have to get a chance of no runs. And that's why he's actually fighting stuff now too. Now that he got another member, he got Key to join this party, so they're going to go to Ashura's base up north to try to stop Ashura. So as you hear, he saved, got in a battle, reloaded, walked a couple steps, got in a battle, reloaded, got another step in a battle, and then reloaded. So hopefully, I believe it's 64 steps now he should be able to go without getting into it. Sometimes when you have a fifth party member, it's harder to run away. So hopefully he's able to run if he needs. So now we are in Ashura's base, and it's pretty cut and dry. Just straight run through the base, pick up some treasures here and there, save and reload to manipulate the battles. And if he actually accidentally talks to one of those zombie-looking guys, yeah, gets into a fight. Alright, so he got a can't run, so he's gonna reload, get in a fight, reload, probably walk a couple steps, get into a fight, and reload again, so he should be good for now. So the reason we're collecting the Magi is to assure that people do not use the Magi to become God naturally. Yeah, the music is surprisingly well for this game, as I was seeing in chat. The boss music is probably one of my favorites still, even though it's a Game Boy game. So that's. So again, he's doing the save and load to manipulate hopefully battles and everything. So here's our, I guess, second mini boss. It's the Rhino, but he's got a lot of robots that got guns that can shoot it, and he's got a Thunderbolt with keys, so it should be pretty simple. So when the Rhino dies, it blows up, well, it bonsais and hopefully tries to blow the building. So weird kind of, I don't know if it's a glitch or not, but you see how he saved and reloaded there, and then all of a sudden no treasure chests were gone? When you do that in this game, if you save and then load an area that has treasure chests, they're just completely gone after you've gotten them. Which is kind of... Okay, so that was World 1. We're going to be going to World 2 now, so that world is actually called First World, I believe. And then the second area is called Ashura's Desert, I believe. So we are going to go through Ashura's Desert. A couple unique things about this area. If you actually walk into the towns, you can get into battles in the town. And right now he's walking through the desert, and you can kind of see, it's kind of hard, but you can see some of the desert waves look wavy and some are straight. When you're walking through the desert, the wavy lines are like, you can walk on them. If you accidentally walk into a place where it's straight, it becomes a cactus will pull you in different directions, which is kind of weird. Alright, so this is Ashura's palace, and we're making our way through here to stop Ashura because he's a bad man. We're able to run pretty easily even without extra agility on our robots because we don't have a fifth party member. So here we're going to see the first equipment. He's making Robot D into the Agility Robot. As you see on his left-hand side, the Agility keeps getting added more and more when he equips weapons. And the Magi that he equips, it doesn't show the actual stat, but each Magi you have, so you had 1 speed. His Agility goes up 3 points for each Magi of that one. So there he fights the Woodman and hits him in 1 hit and goes first because his agility is so high now. Alright, so we get Mask, who's totally not Dad with a mask on, to join our party. So again, we're doing the save and load to manipulate the way we'll be walking through this. The masked man is totally not Dad with a mask on whose name is Mask, since I see people asking in chat. So most of the treasure we're going to be getting through this run. We are either going to be saving for optional characters later in the... well, not optional characters, I guess companion characters, the 5th party member, for later in the run. Or we're going to be using to probably sell to better equip our robot. So here we sadly got a can't run, and so we're going to have to go through watching all of their guys attack the robot. So So you guys are saying the mic's cutting out. That might be on my end. I'm holding a button to click and talk, so I'll make sure I hold it longer at the end of my sentences. Alright, so here we are coming to our first boss. It's Ashura, so enjoy the music. I'll wait to talk until after. Alright, so Ashura is knocked down, and he tells us that he sent men. He got his minions or whatever to miniaturize and go attack Key to get the magi out of her body. I'm sorry. So that's where we go back to Key's palace to see what she's doing. And the fairy tells us that we have to go to Giant's World next because they know how to shrink. And then we also need to learn how to shrink so we can go inside of Key's body also to stop Ashura's men from taking her magi. Alright, so back in the, I guess we're going to call this the hub, the area where you can go and teleport to different areas. He is going to the next area, so this is Giant's World. So here we run into Dad, and he tells us oh, you're collecting magi too? Well, that's pretty cool. Here's some magi. No one will think kids have this. See you later. And then he just kind of runs away, and he's like, I gotta stop some more people from getting magi, bye. So here he is going to talk behind the shop to Man, as his name is put there, and we ask him how he gets his Giants equipment, and he tells us that we need to go talk to Johnny. So robots A, B, C, and D are going to go look for Johnny to ask him about the Giants equipment. So here he is making his way to the coffee cup, which I assume is supposed to be a bar, but it's a coffee cup. And we find out that Johnny tells us there is a spot on the stairs that is different colored, and that's how we get there. And then asks if we think he is a giant. It doesn't matter if you say yes or no. If you say yes, he's like, well, it's not true. And if no, he's just kind of like, alright, good. So the weird thing about this game, it has a lot of weird triggers that, if you didn't know so casually, it takes a lot longer trying to figure some of them out, just because they're kind of random. So there's a dark colored spot on the steps there. If you try to click on, talk to it to get through it, it just says some weird message and it won't let you go up through the secret passage. You actually have to talk to Johnny first, or else you can't get up those steps. So here we pick up some magi before we go to the other room. So these are the giant's houses we're going through, little cracks, or I guess little mouse holes it looks like. And then we are going to pick up a magical potion in this one. So even though it's in the inventory as a potion, it kind of looks like a giant eyeball to me, but that's neither here nor there. So now that we got the Micron potion, we actually have to go all the way back to Key's Palace, so we can go stop Ashura's men from stealing the Magi from Key. Yeah, so I see something about the encounter rate. I read that the encounter rate is insanely high for this game because it's a relatively short game. So they made the encounter rate really high to seem like it was longer. So that is why the encounter rate is insanely high. Alright, so just to let you guys know, if you're tired, this next area that he's going to be going to has some awesome music, and it's very, it's not monotonous at all. Okay, so we sold some equipment there and bought an SMG gun. The SMG gun it's pretty awesome in this run. This is the only category I think you see it most of the time. It attacks a group of enemies, so if you run into like 6, I don't know, tigers or 6, I don't know, gangs, it actually attacks all 6, so it's an AoE attack. So that's very helpful for the robot's sake because they don't have any currently. So here we enter the best part of the game, Terima said sarcastically. We are going to go through Key's body here. We have to go get a Magi out of each hand, each foot, her stomach, and her heart. And then after we get all of them out of those areas, we have to go and get the last one out of her brain. So this music, I don't mind this music. I just mind this music for how long we are in this area, because it just seems like it goes on and on and on and on. So if I found some of these things in my body, by the way, I would be pretty terrified to I'd be going to the doctors instantly if I'm finding woodmen and terrorists inside of my body, and worms and samurais. So back to the encounter rate. Sometimes you will walk like 60 steps, no fights. Other times you will walk and get in 3 fights and 4 steps is the worst, I believe. So we got the 2 Magi out of her hands. It's always on the second to left finger. Now Zara's going to the feet, or 1 foot it looks like. The Magi and the feet are always on the right hand side. So casually as a kid, or an adult I guess, if you want to, when you're playing this, you're not going to know where the Magi is. So you're going to have to walk up and down all the toes looking for it, or all the fingers to look for it. Oh yeah, it seems that there's octopuses and horses inside of her as well. So this is where... oh, there's robots in there as well. So this part we're going through the intestines, which naturally... I'm assuming it is, it doesn't ever specify, but going back and forth like this, it makes me assume that it is the intestines. So he is, I've seen being asked why is he robots and everything like that. He's running the category of 4 robots. So there's a couple of challenge quests, or challenge speedruns of this game. So you can do 4 robots, 4 monsters, 4 humans, or 4 mutants. And it just kind of adds a dynamic to the game that you're not going to experience in any other category. So because he's being 4 robots, he has no chance of really healing in battles. So he kind of has to either hope that RNG is nice in battles, or be prepared enough that he's going to be able to sustain the damage from fights. To my knowledge, he's going to be using... yes, robots can only use items to do things. I believe he's going to be running 1 strength robot, 2 agility robots, and I'm not sure what he does with the 4th one, because it's been a while since I've seen him run this category. As a kid, I died a lot in here because I didn't realize how easy it was to run, it seems. And yeah, I just died a lot. So I see Phantom talking in chat about the different things they all use. So humans are well-rounded and they actually learn stats the fastest. Mutants, like humans, learn stats after fights and gain spells randomly. And then monsters, yeah, when you eat meat, you can turn into a different monster. So this is the heart, I guess, based off the way it's laid out. So it has 4 chambers, like a heart, kind of. And in the last chamber is the Magi. Okay, so now that we got all the Magi out of her feet and body and hands and everything, we are going to be going to fight the mini-boss in her brain. So this fight will be pretty easy because he bought the SMG gun. He should be able to take them all out in 1 hit. But you never know, so you always safety safe. So he got, A died really fast there. So he just did a quick reset. Or he did a reset because there was a group of 8, I'm not entirely sure. So he just takes them out 1 shot with the SMG, goes and steals her Magi from her brain, and then just walks away and doesn't even say bye to her. So we kind of joke around in my community about how we ruined Key's life, actually, because she always had visitors and, you know, people were coming to see her and she was healing them and everything. And then after we hang out with her, we just kind of steal all of her Magi, don't even say anything, and just say bye and ruin her life. So, see you later, Key. So we're going to be going to the next world, which is Apollo's world. So here is Apollo's world. It's a pretty laid back area. So here we meet Apollo and listen to, you know, Apollo music, so there's that. He's a big tall guy and has special music, so he's probably not important at all. So here we are going to go underwater and listen to the same music again from inside of Key's body. So having that music back to back makes it a little rough on the staying awake side, but it is what it is. Oh, by the way, our robots have special shields that they can walk on lava with. So that's why he only takes one step of damage every step of lava he walks in, because he's special robots. Yeah, this is blue lava. I don't think you've seen it before. It's extra hot lava, actually. So here we're just kind of going through, there's 3 dungeons in this world, and I kind of didn't mention this because I was too busy being fixated on how tall and awesome Apollo was with his music. So he gives you 3 riddles saying that there is some magi in this world. There's one in the fire that burns below the sea, in a cave that's really bright, and like a cave by a town. So these are the clues that you're supposed to go underwater and get some magi down here. So he got the true eye magi there, so that means he can go into the second cave, the cave of light now. So the Cave of Light, even if you memorize the patterns of the rooms, you can't go into it until you get the True Eye Magi. It won't let you. So this cave has a chance to... Well, first off, the floor moves, which I don't know if there's many places where the floor is moving. But you also, this is the first chance, to my knowledge, that you have the possibility of getting ambushed. It's called Unexpected Attack in this game. So he's definitely going to be saving frequently in here because if he runs into a battle of 8 or 10 enemies, unexpected attacked, you know, it could potentially wipe out his party. So I see the floor is affecting everyone differently. When I was a kid, I always tried to walk with the tiles. It made me feel like I was accomplishing something for some reason. He's going to get the next sword upgrade for his agility robot here. It's the laser sword. I hope I spoiled it a couple seconds ahead, sorry. Alright, so that's the fight he doesn't want to see, the Big Eye Medusa and Saber Cat. The Saber Cat has the surprise attack ability, so he can get surprise attack there. So I see people saying, like, is he underleveled? He seems super weak. So there actually aren't levels in this game, which is kind of one of the unique things about it. Robots gain stats and HP based off of the equipment they have on. So his 3 robots have the exact same equipment you start the game with, and then
the fourth robot, I'm sorry, is the only one he has stuff on. So that's why he has more agility stats and HP. If you run this game as a human or a mutant, you get stats at the end of battle randomly based off of what kind of attack you do during the game. So if you use an agility attack in a fight and the fight ends, you have a chance to gain an agility stat. If you use a magic attack, you have a chance to gain a magic stat. It actually even works for defense, so if you use a shield to block stuff, you have a chance to get a defensive stat as well. HP, you just kind of randomly get. I believe it's based off of you have less HP than the monsters do. So now that we're done with this cave, we're going to be going to the cave to the north. There's 2 entrances to it. So I believe he's going to go to the bottom entrance since he's using the 4 robots. He's just going to pick up the 1 equipment that's in here so he can sell it later. This is going to also be the first instance of we hopefully see the RNG manipulated correctly to get an item drop from the mini boss coming up. So now he's going to go up to the cave, the second half of the cave, the north half, and go down and fight. There's a robot at the bottom called Donatus, at least that's how I pronounce it. And he's a unique monster, a unique mini boss from the standpoint of he can drop items for you. So we're going to hopefully, Czardia's hopefully going to get him to drop a Blitz Whip, I believe. Let me double check my notes he gave me. Yes, he's going to get Donatus to try to drop a Blitz Whip. And he's going to either have the Blitz Whip, I'm not sure if he sells it or if he equips it on his agility robot for the extra agility. But he's also a unique mini boss from the standpoint of if you're running this category with a mutant in your party, Donatus he's flagged that your mutant can learn any spell in the game from him. So casually, you might want to save and reset until you learn something, or if you, if you're running this game, there's a chance that you could get a super powerful spell really early in the game. So yeah, the downside of robots is that their equipment is used in half. And yes, like someone else said, if you unequip it and re-equip it, it halves again. The upside though is if you go to an inn, it'll go back to fully charged again. Another downside which makes the last boss especially of this category really hard is you have no means of healing inside of a battle with the robots. So most other categories you have some means of healing during fights, whether it be, an attack that heals you also, or the mutants have spells that heal, the monsters can get spells that heal. So here we get arguably the worst companion in the game, Lynn. She's pretty terrible. She has 100 HP and some terrible moves. Alright, so we're going to come up to the mini-boss Donatus, and like I said, he's hopefully going to manipulate the RNG that he gets a Blitz Whip from him. Also, another side note of this area, he kind of fell down a little elevator chute almost. You can't go back up that elevator chute once you go down it, so if you're under-leveled or don't know what you're doing, you can't get out of here until you fight and defeat Donatus. Alright, so here's Donatus, and he's probably going to be one-shot with the laser sword, but hopefully we see a Blitz Whip. And there we go. So he got the Blitz Whip and a whole bunch of extra stuff. Oh my gosh, what is this? We see Lynn, and A sees his dad here with Lynn and her mom. That's kind of crazy. What is he doing here? And we're like, whatever. I'm going to triumph over him, and then we just kind of decide we're going to collect the Magi without our dad. So here we're going to be selling extra equipment. So he did sell the Blitz Whip. So this is to ensure that he has... Oh man, he's 700 gold short. Oh, he sold the elixir, okay. He wants to buy 3 laser swords, and this is for the upcoming bosses and mini bosses, just to make them super crazy easy, and even the next major boss coming up you can fight and destroy in 3 rounds by having all the extra laser swords on the one robot. So this next area we're going to is called the Guardian's World, and it's super long. Actually, it's not really long at all. It's just a town. He walks through the teleporter, goes into the teleporter town. So here he's going to hopefully manipulate the RNG to get 2 drops. He's going to be fighting a magician, and he needs to get him to drop a sleep book, and he's going to be fighting a commander that hopefully drops a bazooka. So we played some music at the bar here. Oh, I'm sorry, the coffee shop here. They don't explicitly tell you how you're supposed to advance in the game, but if you talk to the barista at the coffee shop, he's like, hey, why don't you play some music? So that's when you play the music and the secret passage opens up. So here we run into Dad. You know, we haven't seen him in a whole world, and we see him and he's like, hey, how's it going? You should go to bed. So we're going to bed. He just tells us go to bed, and we go to bed. Here we are equipping our 3 laser swords on robot letter D. So as you see, his agility is all the way up to, I believe it's at 84. So he's going to be one-shotting everything, being able to run from everything, dodging everything. The only thing you have to worry about is magic attacks. Yeah, I've never played the DS version. I've heard good things, just like other people were saying it's sad that it never came to the US. So here's Dad, he's like, hey, the different gods sent monsters to our base. Let's hang out and stop them. So here's a whole bunch of just mini bosses, you know, but we're just gonna laser sword them and do a ton of damage. So this next monster is the magician that he's hopefully going to get to drop a spell book, which we will be selling to get some extra monies for later in the run. So he loaded, fought a werewolf, and now he's going to fight the magician here and one-shot him with his laser sword and get a book of spells. Or sleep, I'm sorry. Sleep book, book spell, yeah, there you go. So the last fight in this world, like I said earlier, is going to be fighting a commando, and he needs to get him to drop a bazooka, so he gets even more monies. So I'm seeing what is max damage and everything like that. I don't I don't know if there is a max damage in this game, and he did get the bazooka drop, so that's awesome. And he tells us that they stole Lyn and they went to the next world. So they are going to the next world to try to save Lyn. So this is definitely the shortest world in the game. This is, I think it's Ninja's world. It's walk to the left and up, and we fight a ninja. I don't know if there is a damage cap, honestly. I don't think so. And yeah, he's manipulating the RNG. Alright, so here we are finding the monster, and he's telling us that he's gonna tell Lyn, take Lyn, and Dad's like, I'll stop him. He turns into a nuclear bomb and blows up the ninja. So now Lyn tells us that that your dad and her dad actually worked as guardians together, and that her dad died, so your dad started helping raise her as respect to a fellow guardian. So yeah, we can defeat him with a laser sword, but not a nuclear bomb. So Dad tried to save Lyn, but was unable to, and then we save Lyn, take her back home, and her mom's like, hey, yeah, your guardian dad left this magi here for you. That stinks. See you later. So this next world is like a huge stopping point for a lot of, at least kids, when I was a kid when I played this. There's just so many random things you have to do, like, to progress with the story, and the boss of this world is pretty stinking hard, I think, if you don't know what you're doing, which I didn't as a kid, so it took me forever to beat it. So here we are in Venus's world. In Venus's world, she has a giant city inside of the wall, inside of walls. The walls she built to keep all of the ugly people out, because she only wants beautiful people into her city. I guess she finds robots are beautiful, so she lets us stay here. And she said because we beat Ashura, we're allowed to stay here. So the first trigger is you have to talk to Venus, or you cannot leave the city. If you don't talk to her, this door right here is closed. So that's the first trigger you have to do. The second trigger you have to do is there's a small town of, I guess they'd be ugly people since Venus kicked them out, that you have to talk to one specific person in there. So here we talk to Leon, and we find out that he got kicked out of Venus's town because he had a broken leg. We do have a chance to get unexpected attacked in here, so that's again why we're probably saving and loading a bunch. So now we go to the sewer. If you try to go to the sewer without talking to Leon, it just says, like, do not enter sewer area. We're going to be coming up to a mini-boss that Zara is going to one-shot. He's going to be fighting a crab. I'm sorry, a hermit. He's going to be fighting a hermit. We have to defeat him to get him to drop a key, so we can go to a couple locked areas. So Czar missed with his laser sword, so he just reloaded to one-shot the Hermit later. So this game surprisingly has enough. I'm trying to figure out how to word this. They designed it enough that if you accidentally sell that key, if you fight that Hermit again, you get that key again. Same with the Micron that we went inside of Key's body with. If for some reason you drop it or sell it, you can go back and get another Micron so you don't soft lock the game. Which is pretty nice for them to do back in the 90s. So in that room is one of the rooms that you need the key for. So the 3 treasure chests you open have magi in them, and the 4th one is actually like a mimic chest, so he would get into a fight from monsters 2 worlds ahead of here. As a kid, that treasure chest killed me many, many times, because I assumed you had to fight them to get whatever was in the chest. But you don't, you can just completely skip the chest. And that is the same with this room as well. 3 chests have magi in it, and the other one is a mimic from monsters 2 worlds ahead that kill you. So now that we got all the magi out of the sewer, we're going to be leaving a different way than we came in. So again, we're skipping some chests that aren't valuable to sell, or we just don't need the items, and we're picking up the chests that have items that we can sell for decent money, or we're going to be using later in the run. So after this trigger of talking or getting the magi out of the sewer, we have to find one person to talk to in this whole town, and it's actually Flora, the one that Leon loves. And if you talk to her, a volcano appears because I don't know why. The game never explains anything, just that a volcano appears once you talk to Flora. So naturally, if a volcano just appears out of nowhere, you should probably head towards it, especially if you're playing a JRPG. So because the volcano appeared, like I said, you know, head towards it. What else would you be doing? So we're going to be saving and loading, making sure we don't get unexpected attacked, and head towards this volcano. And we're going to be getting lots of stuff in there to sell, because, I mean, that's what you do. You just sell all the stuff you find. So you're going to be noticing the game like glitches for a couple seconds sometimes, and then you see a sprite magically appear and then disappear. So it explains later why this is happening. And again, if you forgot, we are magical robots that can walk in blue lava, so that's why we're taking 1 HP's worth of damage every step we take. And I guess humans with broken legs can also step in lava and be quite alright. There are a couple monsters in here that can unexpected attack him as well in the overworld, so hopefully that doesn't happen. and we're going to be picking up some Magi naturally in here, because, I mean, it's been underground for who knows how long, but since we came to this world, it is no longer under the ground. It's above the ground. Alright, so I have a question for everyone in chat. Is Czar going to have some good luck fighting Venus, or is he going to have bad luck and have to fight her a couple times? That is a very split decision of people in there. I kind of like it. I was expecting a flood of just terrible lucks, but there's a lot of good and bad lucks. 2 days it's going to take to beat Venus? That would be awful. So Venus, the main thing she can do that ruins the run, not ruins it, but makes it have to be reset, is she can use Flame on your whole party, which will kill everyone but the main robot that does damage. He can take 2 flames. Or she can use the Blitz Whip on any of the one robots, but it's single target, so as long as it doesn't attack the agility robot, it's okay. And then she can also use Erase, which is a one-hit KO move that sometimes works on robots, I think. It's been so long since she's used it, and it's worked on me, so... But most of the time, as long as you don't get... As long as Flame is not used on the first turn, you're fine. She can also use Charm, but it does not work on robots. Alright, so we get the Power Magi, and Leon just punches us, says forgive me, and it takes the Magi off of us. And I guess that's okay. So after we get all the Magi out of there, we're gonna go walk back to Venus's little town, because that's what we're supposed to do, I think. Here, Azar is going to stop at the inn to heal up his important robot. And then we are going to be going to Venus's area and hope for good luck. I think he'll get it. I think he'll get it first try. So this world is the first world also when there's actually somewhat of a plot. The other worlds are kind of just like, hey, do this for me, here's some Magi, see you later. So this one you actually have to do kind of story. There's a mini story, which is, it's kind of nice. I actually really like it now. I hated it as a kid casually because it took so long for me to figure out who to talk to when and stuff. Alright, so Venus is going to marry Niles and Flora because she wants them to be married. No objections and everything, and then all of a sudden we just hear, Flora! Leon comes running in with some Magi and a knife, and he tries to kill Venus. But Venus just kind of smacks him away and is like, don't oppose me, they're gonna get married. And Flora's like, it's fine, I'll marry her, but I really love Leon. And she's like, well, too bad, you're gonna do what I tell you. So Flora puts a scar on her face so she's ugly. And Venus is like, this is unforgivable, you're all banished. And that's when we can't take it anymore. We say that's enough, and we just attack Venus. Oh man, I just saw that F word I don't like to see. Alright, Charm is good, and then we should be good. We should go first. Oh no! He's going 4 rounds for some reason. Okay, well he got her either way, so that's good. So he defeats Venus, and we're like, hey, everyone's happy now, what are we gonna do? I don't know. See you later. Here's your Magi back. And we're like, that was pretty cool. I like that. Let's go. Alright, so the big thing that we get from that fight is we get the Aegis Magi. So the Aegis Magi, there we go, I knew I could say it, is really broken in this game. If you equip it on a robot and use it during fight, that person blocks elemental attacks for himself or herself, blocks physical attacks, but if you actually get it used in battle, it gives your whole team, it blocks elemental attacks on your whole party. So we're going to be using that for a couple fights to hopefully not be hit with some magic spells. So here we are in the dragon race world. You can get, there's 4 different dragons you can pick from, you know, super slow to super crazy fast. Czar picks the third or the second fastest one. So because he picks the second fastest one, he's going to have 3 mini bosses he's going to have to go through. The first mini boss is actually coded wrong, so you can run from. Oh, you got unexpected attack, so that's why he's reloading. The first mini boss you can actually run from because it's coded wrong, and then the other 2 he's going to have to actually fight. And yes, as chat has seen, there is no watcher grind because we do not need meat in this category, so that is a good thing. So this is the first mini boss. We just run from it and get a speed magi. So if you actually have teleport at some point for this, there is a glitch where you teleport out of the race with the dragon, and you can like walk through walls and stuff. So it's kind of interesting if anyone wanted to know that. And yeah, as Trance is saying in chat, Apollo actually organizes this race if you actually go through and talk to people, but talking's kind of hard to do, so we will not be doing that. Alright, so the first boss we have to fight is the Lamia mini-boss, which, you know, not too bad. So we're gonna hope for 1 Watcher, since we just need to kill it and not worry about meat. And actually, we'll probably get a meat drop because Czar does not need it. If he needed it, it probably would have taken like 12 tries. So we'll see. Okay. Alright, so we defeat all the mini bosses and we go finish the race. And there you go. Winner, winner, chicken dinner. Czar took first place, stole all the magi, and is leaving the world. Alright, this next area also roadblocked me as a kid a lot because there's so many random triggers it took forever to learn what I was supposed to be doing. So here we are in the Edo world. So it takes place during the opioid wars, kind of. And here we are going to go buy a tank, because, you know, everyone needs a tank sometimes. So we bought a tank so we can one-shot groups of enemies. So we're fighting some Hamatos, and we're going to use the tank and blow them all up. So there we go. And we received a punch from it. That's not really good. It sells for not a lot. So here we meet Hannah, and she tells us about the Hamatos and how they're bad. And we're like, she's pretty cool. So the first step we have to do is try to find her, which casually, I don't know how you're supposed to know this. I don't remember. It's been so long since I've played it casually, but we have to go find Hannah now. So here we found Hannah, and she's like, my dad investigated Ichigoya. You know, I'm trying to arrest him for smuggling stuff, and we're like, we'll take care of it. Let's go talk to Ichigoya. So we're gonna go talk to Ichigoya again. He's the guy that we bought the tank from, in case you're wondering. But if you talk to him in front of the counter, he just tries to sell you stuff. But if you talk to him behind there, we're like, when's the next shipment coming in? So he tells us that it's in the South Harbor. So here in the South Harbor, we see a turtle hanging around, and that is one of Hannah's buddies. It's Kami, I believe. In the South Harbor, we get on the boat, and we start looking to see what they're smuggling in. So here we get a laser gun to match our laser sword. And then we're going to also get a couple other things here. We're going to be getting a save file, another tank, and then we're going to be getting one more equipment that we're going to be saving for much later. Well, I guess it's not much later anymore, but later in the game. And then we're going to go behind this cage. We're fighting these knights because it's a group of 7. We can take them out in one hit, and they have a chance to drop items. So here we find Hannah and Taro, and they're talking about Ichigoya. And the ship is full of bananas. Can you believe that they are smuggling bananas into this poor, poor town? It's just kind of unheard of, actually. So in the original version, they were actually smuggling opioids, but Nintendo of America, obviously you can't have opioids in the game in the 90s, so they switched it to bananas. Even though we're fighting terrorists and stuff, but you know, that's okay. But no opioids, just bananas. So we pick up Hannah, and we're going to go to the magistrate to try to get Ichigoya arrested. So Zara is saving so much to manipulate fights, and in case he gets into a battle he can't run from, which shouldn't happen, but it's also so he doesn't get unexpected attacked as well. So we go to the magistrate, and they go try to get Ichigoya, and he's like, I don't know what you're talking about, there's nothing there. And then the judges come, and they said that there's no ship there, there's no bananas, there's nothing to do, and they're like, alright, well, you're free to go. So once we get back, we find that Kami got beat up because he was trying to look into Ichigoya's place. And then, you know, they come and looking for him, and they're like, I don't know where he is. He got paid today. And they're like, be careful. So we're like, let's go see what Ichigo is doing. Hana's like, let's do it. So we're gonna go talk to Ichigoya again, this time with Hana. So now we're going to be doing something that Zard coined the Edo grind. We're going to be fighting tons of battles to hopefully get item drops to make it so not just one robot is doing all the damage in the next couple bosses. So we're going down in the basement of Ichigo's place, and you can fight random battles here, but if you go in this door, there's 3 guys just kind of sitting around, and if you talk to them, they say, what are you doing here? And then you get in a fight. So Zara's going to be saving and reloading and fighting these battles over and over again to try to get knights, hopefully, or he'll also be fighting groups of 8 if they're gazers for the extra money so he can buy laser guns and cat claws. So even though there's only 4 knights here, just having the chance to get an item drop is worth fighting it. And he did, X Cure is not ideal, but it's still an item drop. He wants to see they can drop different swords that we can sell, and I think they might be able to drop a piece of armor as well. But any groups of 6+ of watchers or gazers is good for me, and any item, even the X Cure, is worth getting for him to sell. So even though he hasn't gotten a lot of knights, he's getting a ton of big groups of gazers, so it makes worth fighting him since he's getting 3,000 GP to be able to buy some stuff. Tanks, so he bought the tank off of Ichigoya. Since Ichigoya is not there anymore, you actually cannot buy tanks until you get to the last world of the game. But since they are robots, robots can stay at the inn, and their items recharge how many times they can use it. Or if you use the elixirs or tents, it also recharges your weapons. So even though his one robot is agility based and a tank doesn't increase agility at all, he puts the tank on the agility robot because he's going to go first, and he's also going to, since he goes first, he just kills them, and it's just a fast fight. So he's actually, I don't think he got one item drop, and he's not. Usually you can use an elixir or heal and do a second run through, but he is choosing not to and going for it. So he is hoping to get a Vulcan drop from Ichigoya in this this next coming fight. Oh, he threw away the X Cure too. Alright, so here we see the Shogun and Ichigoya meeting about their banana smuggling, and how they're keeping the police quiet and saving and making some money, and they just kind of laugh about it. But then the music changes. And the best part is they actually acknowledge, they said, why is this music changing? So we go in and we're like, this is ridiculous. We have to stop this. So we're gonna fight some Hamatos in Ichigoya. So hopefully we are getting an item drop. Ooh, we did not get the item drop. Hopefully Azar has enough money to get the items he needs. I assume he wants to buy a cat claw and 1 laser gun at least. Maybe 2 cat claws and a laser gun to make 2 of his robots useful instead of just 1. So here we're going to be selling lots of stuff, and he's using the power-ups potions he's had throughout the game on Taro, so he does more damage with his weapons. That punch he had was 25 extra. Oh, yeah, he actually sells the tank. I didn't know he... So he runs this differently than I do as well. Ooh, he's still short for getting the cat claw. Oh no, he's good. He has 2 laser guns and a cat claw. Never mind, I must have missed it. So the cat claw and laser gun he's going to put on his main damage dealing robot. It'll increase his damage naturally. And he'll be doing a lot of damage on the next boss with the cat claw. The cat claw is the highest agility single target attack weapon in the game. And he's actually going to get 1 more weapon for an agility robot in this next area. Oh, he bought the laser gun from Ichigoya when he bought the tank? Okay, I must have missed that. Alright, so this robot is also becoming an agility robot. So he's going to get rid of the whip because it's old, get a cat claw on, and then, oh, he's going to put it on that one. So he's just going to add it. You can reuse them. Each time you unequip and re-equip it, your spell charges get cut in half. So we still have 2 useless robots. So he's going to tank the Stone Man, which should kill the whole group. Oh, it did not. So Tara's doing 1,000 damage because he gave him those power potions. And I actually did not see, I'll have to check, I didn't see him equip the Aegis shield on any of his robots yet. So that attack, you see how it shook? Oh, you actually got a Thunder Axe, which is awesome to sell for later. Sometimes when you attack with the Masamune, it does a weakness it was hit, and it does a mighty blow, and it just instantly kills the enemy you're fighting. So this area, much like Venus's area, Venus was a for me as a kid, and then this whole dungeon like blew my mind as a kid because it wasn't just a straightforward path. There was a couple side paths to get extra treasure, but having it like as a kid when there's more than one path, I died in here so much. So here we are in, I guess, the Shogun's Palace. I guess I would call it Shogun's Palace. And then we are going to be picking up treasures to just kind of have for later to sell again. Or we're going to actually be equipping some strength stuff on our strength robot finally. The strength robot is actually going to miss every attack if it tries to attack because it has such low agility. But we still equip it for later in the run when we get a weapon that doesn't matter. Oh jeez, excuse me. Doesn't matter what your agility is, you're gonna hit. So the one fight that he can get into, I'm not sure if he avoids it when he saves and loads. If he gets into a fight that resembles the original fight when you entered the Edo Palace, so the Knight, Stoneman, and Samurai, you actually cannot run from that fight because it's kind of flagged. It's flagged as the entry fight, so he would have to fight it. So here we're picking up some missiles and, you know, a couple other things. And yes, Excalibur and Gungnir Spear have 100% hit and are based off strength. And the Excalibur also does have unlimited uses, which is correct. And we will be getting those, well, at least the Excalibur will be getting. I'm not sure, I know he doesn't go through the Nasty Dungeon, but there's a chance that you could get a drop for the Gungnir Spear. Alright, so we're coming up to the end of this palace, which playing this grown up, it seems so much shorter than it did to me as a kid. And when I was a kid, I always missed this treasure chest. I don't know, it doesn't even blend in looking at it anymore. But for some reason, I couldn't get it for some reason. Like I always missed it. What is he doing? So he's equipping I don't know what he's doing. He's putting a ninja thing. Okay, so he's putting the Aegis Magi on Robot A, and C is getting the Ice Magi to protect it from the ice spell, I assume. So here we are fighting the Shogun, which is a pretty tough fight. And he's dead. There we go. So here we find out the real bad guy is Magnate, which is his dad. So you save here because you can get in fights on the roof, because, I don't know why, but you can. So Magnate, even casually, if you're over leveled, you can still die to him if he decides to use Tornado. So the Tornado move hits everyone and does a lot of damage. And even with the Aegis Shield, it does a lot of damage. So he uses the Aegis Shield to protect his whole party if he uses Thunder or Lightning. And in that case, he protected himself from being hit by the Katana. So far so good. We haven't seen the Tornado move, so that's good. Yeah, even casually, if Magnate uses Tornado back-to-back turns, you pretty much can't recover from it just because of how much damage it does. So he should be dead this turn. Yeah, so Magnate is down. He gets 30,000 gold, or GP, excuse me. Alright, so we tell them, what do we do now? We're like, 10 more to go, let's go! So yeah, the laser guns you're going to be seeing a lot of. They raise your agility a bunch, give you a lot of HP as a robots, and they're consistent damage. The Cat Claw is the main damage for the agility robots. The Samurai Bow is nice because it attacks groups of enemies. So the Samurai Bow will be taking out large groups of enemies, and also raises your agility. Alright, so Magnate is down. That fight, it can be tough, even perfectly planned. Like I said, if he uses Tornado twice, it doesn't matter what you do. So in this area, this is the Nasty Dungeon world. There is 10 floors in that dungeon, and there's 10 floors in that dungeon, and it's full of tons of awesome treasure, but, you know, obviously you don't want to walk through it because you're speedrunning. If you go through it, and that little fairy there, she'll be at the end, she'll be like, I told you it was nasty, didn't I? And if you say yes, she lets you go. And if she says no, then she teleports you back into the middle of it, and you have to climb your way back out. So the Magi we got in that world is the Pegasus Magi. It works as like a door, so you can teleport between towns that you've been to already. Now we are in Valhalla, so we are going to be picking up all these treasure chests to sell the contents later. And we are going to be fighting a boss in the end of this area as well. So in this category, because you don't have an ability to prevent unexpected attacks or get surprise attacks, that's why there's still a chance to get unexpected attacked at this point of the game. Sometimes you can, in different categories, you'll have monsters or mutants have abilities that you can't be surprise attacked, so it's not as, you know, scary or save heavy as it is in this category. So Zara is having his usual RNG show up with how many unexpected attacks he's gotten into in this world so far. Holy cow, he's not being very lucky. So this cave, dungeon, whatever, it actually doesn't explain. If you don't realize that there's certain walls you can walk through that you have to, like when you're in the volcano it just kind of ends but you can walk through the wall to get to the next area. There's actually a section that in this dungeon, if you get to a certain spot it looks like it just ends and you're kind of stuck there, but you can walk through the wall to the next area. So right here, after he gets the flare book, I mean, I guess you should be able to figure out, but it just kind of ends here. Yeah, you just walk through the wall, and you have to be able to do it. Like, you can't go on, so. The next boss, so the boss in this area, you're actually going to be fighting Odin. So if you die casually, or during this run, you will come to Valhalla, walk up and talk to Odin, and Odin will talk to you about how, you know, he wants to battle, and, you know, true warriors, you know, never give up and things like that, and he'll resurrect you to fight the battle again. But he won't, I'm trying to figure out how to word this. He says he'll only bring you back to life to fight if you promise to fight him when you meet him one day. So since you didn't die during the game, instead of him talking to you about like, oh, you made your promise, you came back to fight me and everything like that, you just go straight into a fight with him. Like, so as soon as Zar talks to him, he's gonna instantly get into a fight. So this fight is a huge mess. So it's hard because this is the first boss in the game that has like people with him. So instead of a raven, they gave it an Odin crow for some reason. Oh, he's actually going to keep going. So you can use the samurai bow to take out the Odin crows, and then you're going to take out the Sleipnir, and then you're going to hope that Odin doesn't spam his Guntnir, which he apparently is. So now we want to see lightning, ice, or thunder attacks because he used the Aegis Shield, and hope that we get good luck. Even casually, if you're not prepared enough, he can just spam his spear and just hit you every turn, and just like that, which is what we did not want to see. Alright, so take 2. So we're going to be trying again, hopefully get off the Aegis Shield before, okay, Odin cured Sleipnir, which is less than ideal, but there are worse things he could have done. And we do get the Aegis Shield off this time, so that was good. Okay, A is fine to die because A was the one that was using the, Aegis every turn. Okay, so now it's just Odin, so you want to hope to see magic attacks and not the spear. So now it's just a RNG fest again to hope to not see the spear, which we did. So let's go for try number 3, I guess. Yeah, Venus, so this game scales very, very weird. The first 2 worlds, and the first mini-bosses, and even the first boss of the game, you get a companion. You know, the second boss, main boss, Venus, is where the game gets kind of hard real fast, because you're not really expecting it. So he has other equipment. I'm not sure why he's not equipping the laser guns. Maybe he didn't know he had them on his main robot. So the damage from the laser guns should increase, since it increases his agility, it will increase the damage that his samurai bow does and that his cat claw does. So since he's not taking out that the Sleipnir on turn 1, kind of slows it down a bit. So he probably should reset, but it doesn't look like he's going to. A was the one that was supposed to use the Aegis Shield. He died, so we don't want to see elemental attacks now, like that. Oh, he actually lived, so that's so good. So now we want to see not lightning. So this coming back to the whole, you're going to be fighting, you only have robots, so there's no way to heal really. This kind of is one of the first apparent reasons why this run, like this challenge, is pretty tough. Whoa, I don't know what happened. Czar broke his game. So I'm going to assume that Czar is attacking stuff right now, and he's winning. He's doing good things right now. But anyways, what I was saying about how this game kind of scales, the first main boss, you know, sure, you have Mask with you. And then Venus, you don't have... Oh, it's super broken now. So for the Venus fight, you don't have anyone. And so if you don't know how to play it like casually, it's going to take a while to... like, if you don't know what spells and whatever doesn't work. Oh, there you go. It's fixed just like that. So I know when I fought Venus, I just used the Magnum and did like 100 damage and spammed it with everyone and took forever. The Magnate fight, I just spammed laser guns and hoped, and it worked, you know, for the most part. For the Odin fight, I actually went through the nasty dungeon to get items so I could be able to beat him. Alright, so looks okay so far. We just need to not... Okay, we just want to see magic spells right now then. And hope. There you go, first try. Odin is down. So a random bit of, I guess, trivia. For some reason, when you defeat Odin, if you get Sleipnir meat to drop, you actually get like 300 gold instead of 37,000 gold. So that is a huge detriment, especially to this category, where you need as much money as you can to make your robots not useless. He equipped the Masamune Magi on his one robot, so he can actually do some damage in the next fight. And then if you use the Pegasus Magi, you can actually teleport outside of Valhalla's castle, I guess. And for whatever reason, it puts you on the opposite side, so it saves a bunch of steps and encounters. So here we are going to go to the hub area and go to the world that is called Final World and see what's going to happen here. Oh, so the lore of the game, by the way, is there's 77 Magi, and you need all of them to gain powers and summon goddesses and stuff. So we have 76 right now, just throwing it up. So Apollo tells us that he actually has the 77th, and that he's going to take all the other ones off of us. So he's like, "Come, my man." Oh, he didn't use the Aegis to attack, or the Masamune to attack. So there's the tornado attack. That is less than ideal. So this is probably going to be a reset on minion. Oh, unless he uses gas, I guess. So if he gets the Aegis shield up, it would protect from gas, blizzard, flame, so it's about half of the minion's attacks. It does not protect against tornado, which we obviously don't want to see. And there we go. So Apollo's like, "Alright, good job, you're strong. I'm gonna, kill all these people. What are you gonna do now?" He's like, "I'm gonna become a real god." And so we give him all the Magi, and they're like, "What are we supposed to do?" And then all of a sudden, Dad comes back to life, and he's like, "Don't lose hope. Don't lose hope, Fox." Just like in Star Fox. Alright, so we're gonna save, and then Dad is going to... Never mind, Dad is not going to get equipped with stuff. We're gonna go to town next. So all those potions that he's been saving, the magic potions and the mana potions, are to make Dad a beast. We give him the Hectite boot to increase his magic stat even more, and then we give him the flare book so he can start destroying stuff. So he's buying 4 dragon swords and 2 laser guns to make to start using his one robot as a strength robot. Then he's going to have, like I said, 2 agility robots, a strength robot, and then the one robot's just going to kind of have miscellaneous stuff in there to just do minimal damage and hopefully take a beating. So here we are in the final dungeon, as it is called, and we will be picking up lots of loot. And the walls have faces, at least they did to me as a kid. We need all of the items in here to sell and have enough money for equipment for fighting the next couple bosses. So I don't know if they're supposed to be faces, but they clearly look like faces to me. So karate and all of the other martial arts things work kind of strange in this game. The more you use them, the stronger they get. So punch has 90 charges. The first like 50 charges are going to be really weak, and they slowly get stronger and stronger the more you use them. But even casually, you're not going to go through all the charges because you're going to get something that's stronger at probably the next town anyways. So we're going to be running from lots of fights in here, saving often to not get surprise attacked, and picking up lots of items and equipping some, selling some, and just surviving through the final dungeon. So yes, it is based on how many charges are left. And they don't actually get decreased on robots when you equip and unequip them. Everything else does decrease its spell charges in half, but the martial arts do not when you equip them on robots. And the runner is not reading chat. The runner, I mean, he might be, I don't know. But his microphone actually broke a couple days ago, so I'm helping him by commentating. There is a way you can glitch the, I think it's a glitch, I'm not sure how it's intended, but you can make martial arts things that the agility stat you get from them, you get the boost from them, but it also disappears out of their inventory. Yeah, it actually is a Tazbot, you're right. It died a couple of times in there to throw it off, so you didn't think it was a Tazbot, but it is indeed. So I didn't see it because I was reading chat a little bit, but there is a weapon in this game. It's called Nuke Bomb. You can get it. It only has one charge on it. It's not the most powerful, but it's just kind of interesting that they have that in the game. So in this area, as a kid, I didn't know this, but there's actually two hidden passages on the left and right to go behind this exit, and we get the Excalibur in here. So Excalibur is it never misses, it has unlimited charges, and it's a strength-based weapon. So we're gonna finally be using this strength robot, and he's gonna be hitting stuff pretty stinking hard with his Excalibur and millions of dragon swords and a sun sword. So he always hits with his Excalibur, but he also goes last because he has no agility. Oh man, I don't know, but robots for what now? B, C, D, A? What is this madness? This is supposed to be A, B, C, D's run. And yeah, for Odin, I always use the Hyper Missile, which automatically kills all non-boss enemies, and the Glass Sword on Odin as well. The Glass Sword has one charge on it, and the Hyper Missiles has 3 charges on it. You would get those if you would go through the nasty dungeon. Yeah, the Glass Sword always does over 1,000 damage, so it's pretty cool to use. Even casually, it was the first time I did a lot of damage. Here we are going to be fighting the next boss that is guarding the last Magi in the final dungeon, which it's kind of crazy that there's a town there and no one ever tried to get it or knew about this Magi somehow, even though it's not very far from the town either. So we're going to save and heal up with Dad, or we're going to equip stuff first. What are we equipping? Lasers! Karates! Alright, so he's putting all the laser guns on for all the damages. Gonna use some heal stick from Dad, save, and fight a robot. So now you get to see the power of Excalibur and the Strength robot. And I'm not sure why he's not using the Flare Book on Dad, but he's not. So Warmech can use Missile, which does fixed damage to everyone. He can use a Nuke Bomb, which is fixed damage to everyone, I believe. Or he can use Bash. So as you saw there, the Excalibur did a 2,500 damage. He is dead. If you notice when he used the heal rod there, it gave like 300 to 400 damage per person, but it gave 700 almost damage, or 700 life to Dad. That's because he's healing himself and he's magic. His mana stat is so high, and the robots have a 0 mana stat. So his money's pretty low right now. He does need to buy a couple other things. What is he? Okay. So I'm just seeing what he's doing here. So he's got 2 pretty strong agility robots and one average one, and then 1 giant strength robot. So the last Magi he picked up is Heart. And what is he? So I'm not sure what he's doing. The last Magi you pick up is Heart, and if you use it in battle, it brings everyone back to life with full life. So we're going to go see what's going on up here. So he equipped the Magi on the agility robot because if he has to use it, he should go first with that. So he's throwing these things on just for extra HP, I believe. So here Apollo's like, don't use it, we don't have all the Magi. And he's like, too late, I'm gonna become a god, you can't hurt me. So I hope you like the sounds of laser guns and flare books because you're going to be hearing them a lot. So the first 5 turns, Apollo just kind of is cocky and is like, you can't beat me, and just talks to you for about 5 turns. So he talks about how he's using the Magi, and you know you can't hurt him because he's using the Aegis shield and stuff like that. And then once the music changes, that's when you know it's about to get real. Alright, so now that he is going to switch forms this turn, he can use the Cat Claw and do more damage. So, 5 turns, bingo bango bongo, he transforms just like that. Doesn't have to use anything or anything, he just transforms. So, he has his AI is very simple. He just uses Flare, Mass Immune, Flare, Mass Immune, and just alternates between the two. So since he did enough damage to him, he starts to melt right away. And all you have to do... Oh, he actually did enough damage in the fight that he didn't get to the last phase. After this turn, he would have just blown up and Dad jumps in front of everyone and saves their life. But that didn't happen, so usually when you beat him, when he blows up, Dad jumps in front of you and takes the explosion for everyone, and so that's why Dad is kind of like dead right now, again. And so, since Dad is dead, quote unquote, you use all the Magi because Dad tells us to. So now we have Isis on our team, which he didn't buy any tents or elixirs. Oh, duh. Sorry. I forgot that he manipulates the RNG, so he's not going to be getting into a lot of fights here. You're going to see him saving and loading a ton, especially in this area, because you can't run from the fights. So, because you can't run from the fights, he actually saves a lot of time by just saving and loading. So we are going to the center of the Earth, because Isis says that the security system is freaking out and we need to stop it. So I hope you like this music, and I hope you like the shaky screen, because it's going to be happening for pretty much the rest of the run. So I know casually Apollo took forever for me to kill. For whatever reason, he was the hardest boss in the game ever, and I just couldn't beat him. But if you actually live in that fight and if you just sit there and heal every turn with everyone, if you have a party that can heal, you are going to outlive him, and he'll eventually just die because he used the Magi, and it doesn't work because he doesn't have all of them. So that's one way you could do it. And then, so this whole part of the game was completely I did not see this coming. You know, you got the last guy, you beat him, and then all of a sudden it's but Apollo wasn't the real bad guy. There's actually a secret hidden bad guy. So we were gonna go stop the security system from blowing up the planet because someone decided, I don't even know if it's a planet, the universe, I guess, because Apollo decided to use the Magi. So here's a mini boss. It's Tai Long. You can fight 1 to 4 of them. So we usually like to see 1, maybe 2. We are going to... he always has a meat drop, so casually it's awesome, and if you're doing a category with monsters in it, you always want to eat the meat here. If you eat the meat from him, it puts you to the top tier monster, since there's different categories of monsters in this game. So him and the next mini boss you fight, they both propel you into that last area, or the last tier of monster. But if you eat meat, you can't leave that tier either. So that's kind of cool that you're always at that top tier once you eat that meat. So Czar is manipulating the RNG by pretty much save and resetting. You'll see he'll save, get into a fight, reload, walk a couple steps, reload, save, reload. It's pretty much just a step counter but he's manipulating it. So most of the time you can see, if you casually play the game, you'll get in sometimes 3 fights in 4 steps, and then sometimes you'll go like 60 steps without getting a fight. He's pretty much saving and reloading after fights to skip ahead those 3 fights, you know, a fight every other step, to that 60 step phase. So Fenrir used Tornado, which is less than ideal, but he does actually have 1 tent. I remember him getting it in the final dungeon. So we are going to find what is causing all this shaking. So we actually want to see, there's an optional super boss that randomly appears. If you do see it down here, you actually can run away from it, but I guess we're not going to get to that step because he just completely skips all the fights. I guess it's a she, that's how I always pronounced it, or I always thought it was a female, but the monster has a chance to drop 7 sword. If you get it, it's really broken. I've never gotten it through all my years of playing this game, as a kid, as an adult, trying to grind to get it even. I've never gotten that sword. Alright, so we are coming up to the last boss here. So if we have awesome luck, we can beat it first try. If we have terrible luck, it could take many, many tries, depending on how the damage rolls come Zar's way. So the final boss has 3 phases. The first phase, he uses his I don't know what he's doing right now. The first phase he uses his cannons. He has 4 cannons, and it does 1,000 damage, or not 1,000 damage. I'm sorry, I was reading chat. It does damage to pace based on how many of the cannons are alive. So if he attacks first, he'll do about 200 damage a hit because he has all 4 cannons. So he wants to try to take out as many cannons as he can, as fast as he can. So each one has 1,000 life. So if you do 999, and then the next hit does like 1,005, that's only 1,000 one time. So he's only going to destroy 1 of them. So after it hits the 1,000 damage mark, it goes to look for the second 1,000 damage. So after the 4,000 damage to destroy the first 4 cannons, he goes to the second phase where he uses we just call it the Small Smasher. It's a single target attack that does random damage. If it hits you, you can dodge it. I'm not sure why he reset there. I'm not sure what he's manipulating here, to tell the truth. Maybe he's trying to put them in A, B, C, D order again. Oh man, I'm real confused now. So we're taking on one of the arsenals, and Isis is going to take out the other one by himself. So him using the cannons first before even destroying one, you have to reset because there's no way to heal the robots. So you're going to take a ton of damage this way. Alright, so we got at least 1 cannon down, which, I mean, it's not ideal, but it's better than having all 4 alive. So what we wanted to see is Cannon 3 getting destroyed before he goes. Alright, so that's okay. So the last phase, so now he's going into the second phase this turn. Single target smasher attack, and if he attacks an agility robot, he's going to miss probably. You can actually block it with tank if you use the tank. And then, so the third phase, which will be after this turn, I believe, depending on how much damage he does. Okay, so next turn he will use the Big Smasher attack. So the Big Smasher hits all enemies or all party members, and it does anywhere from like 62 to like 636 damage, I believe, and it's completely random, and there's nothing you can do about it. You can have max defense, max agility, it doesn't matter. You can have no agility, no defense, it doesn't matter. It'll just hit you for whatever it wants to. Yep, and because he can't heal because of the robots, there's nothing you can do except just put some RNG bless in the chat. I'm not sure again why he's fighting. Oh, so he's fighting this fight, I'm assuming, to hopefully get a karate or a sun sword. Or a kick, which is not helpful at all. He's looking for more agility, or he's looking for something basically to boost up his HP. Yeah, getting kick is probably the worst. I didn't even know you could get kick down here, honestly. Most of the time you want to see the Sun Sword, which he won't even use, but he'll put it on one of his agility robots just for more HP. Or a karate to increase the agility of one of his robots. So even though it caps at 99, it actually does go above it a little bit. So that's why you'll see sometimes, even though he's capped at 99, that he has so much more agility equipment equipped. Just to go over that 99 more. So I don't know why, but sometimes if you have too much agility, it actually goes over, like it overflows. So that's why sometimes you'll see someone with 99 max agility go last. For whatever reason the game decides, like, yeah, you can't do this, you're gonna go last. So again, he actually got hit by both small smashers, so yeah, 603, 5, I mean, you just gotta hope at this phase. With no healing, this boss honestly is just straight luck. Or if he gets more stuff here. Alright, so Samurai Shield is obviously not helpful for damage-wise, but he can put it on and just put it on to hopefully survive more and get more HP. Yeah, he got like 120 extra HP by having that Samurai Sword, or Samurai Shield, I'm sorry. Robots can't use Cure Staffs or stuff. They can put on the Cure Staff, but they don't have any mana, so it won't heal for anything. And since their HP or their mana is so low for the ones that they are healing, it gets even less. So I mean, I guess you technically could, but it wouldn't be very helpful, I believe. So yeah, this is why this run is so brutal, because even if you're on world record pace in this category, if, you know, for whatever reason Arsenal just doesn't want to cooperate, it doesn't matter at all. You know, I've seen Czar be on Arsenal himself, or itself, for 15 minutes, 20 minutes, because Arsenal just doesn't want to cooperate. So Selfix is in the Nasty Dungeon, but it is also a drop on any of the robots you fight down here. There's a chance that they will drop it. But since Czar skips all the fights with the manipulation, he does not get a chance to get Selfix. So self-fix, I believe, is a 10% of your HP. So if you have 800 life, you're gonna gain 80 HP a turn. So I think if I read that correctly, all 4 robots are still alive in the last phase. So we just need a couple of them to not get hit by a couple. Oh, or he can just kill them like that. GG, time is right there. So if you do enough damage on phase 1 and 2, especially phase 2, there's a chance that you can only take 1 or 2 smashers on the last phase. So good job to Czardia. Make sure you give him a follow. He has the world record actually in this category, and all of the all the challenges Czardia is good at running. So he runs 4 monsters, 4 robots, 4 mutants, and 4 humans, and he's a master of the manipulation. So make sure to give him a follow. Yeah, good run honestly. Besides the Arsenal fight, there was not much wrong that I saw going on in that run. He didn't get any drops in the Edo grind, but you know, good. GG. That's all I can say. Oh yeah, by the way, Dad's alive, so and Dad never dies. I think that's it. I don't know if Czardia wants to add anything. I know his mic is not working. I'll see if he wants me to add anything real quick, if that's okay. So I know he did say he didn't get any drops from Ichigoya, or the Knights, and that he got ambushed 4 times in Valhalla, so yeah. GG, that's all I got. Manipulation failed, he said, without getting the Vulcan from Ichigoya. And he was on backup strats for a lot of stuff, but Odin, yeah, Odin didn't work well, but alright, I'm gonna end now since we are over time. GG's and high spirits, thank you for running this event again. It's been awesome to watch so far, and keep it going, sir.